Welcome back to the King's Corner, the place for all things Bethesda. I am the KingFanMan with another Fallout 76 news video. And hey, if you love Fallout, the Elder Scrolls, and even Starfield, and you're not subscribed yet to the KingFanMan channel, why not? Bethesda's all I talk about here, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. 2025 was a big year for Fallout 76 with player numbers hitting an all-time high, and it was a great year also for new content with the recent release of the new map expansion Burning Springs and so much more. And now, with the Fallout TV show Season 2 still driving player numbers up, what might we expect in way of content this year? Well, recently, the creative director Jon Rush and lead developer Bill Lacoste gave an interview talking about that very thing. And it looks like 2026 is going to be another great year for Fallout 76 content. However, with a new or different focus. In this interview, Jon Rush said he has one criticism of Bethesda games in his mind, and he wants to beat that criticism this year in Fallout 76. What is that criticism? Well, that some Bethesda games are an ocean wide, but a puddle deep. It's something you hear commonly about games like Skyrim, Starfield, and especially Fallout 76, talking about that there is worlds of things to do, from side quests, numerous factions, relentless checklists, daily tasks, and a bucket load of public activities. Yet, when you dig into one of them, you'll find that the rabbit hole never goes that far down. Well, looking to 2026, this is exactly what Jon Rush and Bill Lacoste want to tackle and change about Fallout 76. So what does this mean exactly? Well, he goes on to explain that recently they have had two big map expansions with Skyline Valley and Burning Springs. So for 2026, Jon said they really want to shift their focus from the outskirts to inward. He said they want to make the game thicker, richer, and more rewarding to play. As for what that means in real new content, he said we want to bring in new systems and new ways to engage with existing content. Now, does this mean there are no future plans for another map expansion? No. In fact, we will get specific about that in just a minute. What it does mean is their first focus will be on making the game deeper and richer with the content we already have. In fact, we will see this focus in our next big update coming this March, where they are reorganizing and tweaking all the events in the game. New legendary items and more legendary enemies are being added to most events, with a all-new scheduling system for events, and even the addition of 4-star legendary enemies, including Bigfoot, into some of the main public events. Also included in the March update is many changes to the menus and Pip-Boy, making it much easier for new and old players alike to interact with the game. Finally, in the March update is also a total reworking of the armor in Fallout 76, rebalancing the armor much like they did for the weapons in 2025. If you want more details about the upcoming March update, I covered it in depth in a past video, and if you play on Steam PC, you can download the public test server right now and play and experience all these changes for yourself. So what about after this March update? What else might we see in regards to new content for the remainder of 2026? Well, Jon Rush continues to explain their new focus. Burning Springs took us across the river into Ohio, while Skyline Valley introduced a new region in the south of the map that was previously basically a dead space. You could even make a case for expeditions, which let us temporarily hop across to other locations like the pit. It's tempting to suggest the map should keep growing in size, and Rush says it is a possibility, but notes that there are naturally limits. It is worth noting that Fallout 76 is built on an older version of Fallout 4's creation engine, not the newer Creation 2 engine that Starfield was built with. There are some built-in limitations, such as lack of crossplay or cross-save features, but the team does explain that there's still a lot of the map still left to explore in future expansions. But let's stop right there. This is one thing that we absolutely know is coming in 2026, and it is an upgrade to the graphics and the engine. Both Jon Rush and Bill Acosta have told us on multiple occasions now that 2026 is the year we are going to get a next-gen upgrade for Fallout 76. Now, I don't know what this means in regards to graphics and just how much of an upgrade we might see, but we do know that that is one of the content updates that we are getting in 2026. Now back to Jon's interview. He says there is a lot of space left on the existing map in the game that is unused, that maybe down the road we could open up if it supports the stories that we want to tell. And if we think players would have a fun time exploring those regions and building there and whatnot, Rush continued. Well, what are these areas that they may open up? Well, in a recent AMA, Jon Rush mentioned the area along the Ohio River that right now is closed down. Right now, going into Burning Springs, there is only one way across the river, and that is at Point Pleasant. But they have talked about opening up the river on both sides up and down the Ohio River, which, number one, would make for great places to build your camp, but they've also talked about it in regards to a new event or story. This may possibly be along the lines of something with fishing, or I really don't know what they're going to do along the river, but just watch. This is one of the areas they talked about opening up, and there may be other areas as well that they are thinking about. Another very good possibility for 2026 is a new raid. This has also been mentioned multiple times by Jon Rush, both in the recent AMA and in interviews. Some even believe they have found the place the new raid will take place in Burning Springs near the Starlight Drive-In. A new high-level raid is welcome news to many longtime players who want more in-game challenging content with great rewards. I definitely see this coming very, very soon. Also remember, the team at Bethesda have told us that the Rust King story is not done. This means the team at Bethesda is working right now on more story content for the new area of Burning Springs. There are even clues Bethesda left in the world showing that the Rust King was being transported by the Enclave across Ohio when the chopper crashed and he escaped. Does this mean we are getting a new story update with more from the Enclave and the Rust King? I do believe so, and that is certainly good news for all Fallout fans. This is the story that I believe will take us off the map once again to another map expansion, this time to Washington, D.C. However, we may have to wait until 2027 for that, or at the very least, December of 2026, because their focus, as he stated multiple times this year, is adding to the places inside our current map. He says again in this interview, there is some pragmatism behind the shift in update tactics, with technical considerations precluding an endless widening of the game's explorable world. We can't just continue making the map bigger and bigger, as Rush puts it, but filling out and adding to the wasteland survival pursuits in more familiar locales has been tried before with success. Rush points out last year's loosening of the building rules for Fallout 76 camp construction, which enabled more ambitious and creative settlement builds across a wider range of terrain. This is an example of how such thickening makes for a better game. One last thing I can add about what Bethesda might bring to the game in 2026 is more content to Skyline Valley. When I got a chance this past year to interview Jon Rush, he mentioned this as a future focus. Since the last update took out the caravan system in Skyline Valley, there isn't enough content in that region, Jon said. He teased that a new enemy may be moving in to Milepost Zero. Now, will this be a new event or maybe even new story quests? I suspect this is something new coming to Fallout 76 very soon. With player numbers in Fallout 76 being as good as it's ever been, and with Microsoft making Fallout a huge emphasis, I know 2026 is going to be a great year for content. Fallout 76 now has more developers working on the game than ever before. Both Bethesda Game Studios Austin and Double 11 Studios working on the game full-time. 2026 should be one of its best years for new content. I am super excited to see what all they have to offer us this year. Let me know down in the comments what content excites you the most and what you really want them to give us in the future. Hey, thank you for spending just a little bit of your time today in the King's Corner. Before you go, be sure and like the video, and hey, hype it if you really liked it. Be sure also you're subscribed for more Bethesda content. I am the KingFanMan. I hope to see you out in the wasteland. Bye, everybody.